continued violence is simply not acceptable.
All that matters is staying alive. You get off the grid, survive.
Welcome to my channel, folks. I truly hope you enjoyed the intro. Let's talk about a realistic BOB, at least from my point of view. After some week of research, I choose a Tasmanian Tiger Companion 30 liters. Strong double-sided zippers that can be locked on the top axis. Thermal-molded carrying system makes this pack comfortable and lighter. It features laser-cut molle on both well-padded shoulders harnesses. Despite the minimalist waist belt, it works well for the pack. It's a very minimalist, well-built and discreet pack with internal tactical capabilities. First double-side zippers to reach the inner compartment and the second one for reaching the top organizing, which is way roomier than I expected. Simple but functional shoulder straps adjustments too. I really like the fact that it doesn't scream tactical, and I always appreciate these kind of minimalist designs. And when it's empty, it doesn't take much space. I bought it black in order to blend more in. Please stick till the end of the video. I will share my idea of what I think about all this world of BOB and survival strategies in case of shtf. Here are the four main factors that will change our bug out bag in my opinion. Environment, season, fitness, and personal life. Let's dive into these factors. We all live in different places. Some of us live in the big cities, some others in the countryside, some others up on the mountains or nearby the sea, or in a desert area. I'm sure you agree with me that where we live will change our approach to our bug out bag and to our bug out strategy. The variety of weathers we can find ourselves in when the shit hit the fan will affect what we are gonna pack in our BOB, at least a part of it. Cold weather will force us to choose a bigger pack because we all know that our shelter system and our cover category will take the most part of the space of our backpack. Additional clothing included. On the opposite side, during the hot season, we will have more space to play with. Or maybe during the rain season, we will have to pay more attention to choosing the right rain garment to keep us dry and choose the proper layers that will keep us warm even if they get wet, like merino wool. Last but not least, we will also need to be sure that we are going to be able to light a fire in case of emergency to dry our clothing and our gear. The third aspect is our fitness. I know that this is one of the most underrated and boring aspects of our preparedness level, but it's a very important aspect. We don't have to become some kind of super duper athletes full of muscle, because most of the time those people are quite useless during an emergency scenario, to be honest. We just need to be strong and functional. Since the early age, there are three main movements that come from the deepest part of our instinct. Running, run away from a possible danger or threat. Jumping to avoid things, move us to a safer place, or put a barrier between us and a possible threat. Climbing to overcome obstacles that might we encounter during our path. These are instinct movements. During an emergency scenario, we have to do it. Because the other two options are, first, we're gonna leave our BOB behind, because in our mind becomes a limitation and we have to get rid of it. The second is we might die because we didn't do what we had to do. Honestly, if you are not able to lift your BOB with one arm over your head, or you cannot climb up or down a wall with your pack on, or you can't run a mile without having your lungs, your back, or your knees on fire, your pack is too heavy or you're not fit enough. So be careful, be honest with you, and check your actual condition, please. For instance, I'm quite unfit, but I'm still dealing with a shoulder injury, so I know my limitation and I have to try to adapt according to what's gonna happen. Number 4, personal life. And with personal life, I mean, are you single? Are you married? Do you have kids? All these aspects will drastically change our approach to a possible emergency scenario. If I had kids, I would choose a bigger pack in order to carry some of their stuff and maybe also some extra gear for my half in order to let her travel lighter and easier. Please let me know what you think about these 4 aspects. We are here to learn together, myself included. We talked about the aspect that can affect our BOB. Now let's talk about the priorities that comes into my mind when I have to build one up. Again, these are what I consider priorities from the most important to the least. My priorities are water, medical, cover, self-defense, and food. Most of the time, water should always be our main priority. Hydration in general will keep our body and mind fully functional. In order to keep me covered in this category, I choose to carry my titanium Grail Ultra Press in order to filter water fast, purifying the water from all the things will make me sick, chemicals and heavy metal included. I'm also carrying a milk bank bag in order to pre-filter water from debris and dirt before I filter the water with my Grail, and the spare filter in case my first filter gets clogged. If you don't have a milk bank bag, you can use a spare t-shirt or just carry some plastic bags and some cotton wool like I did in my last video about stealth camping. I also decided to carry another bottle made by Self-Reliance Outfitters in order to carry additional filtered water. Being hydrated is the most important aspect to keep our body fully functional during the emergency scenario. Way more than food, that's why I put food last in my list. At the second place, we have medicals. In today's world, being prepared for emergency is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. Whether it's a natural disaster, civil unrest, or another unforeseen event, having the right medical supplies on hand can mean the difference between life and death. First aid or self-aid is going to be a very important aspect to me. We cannot do anything if we are bleeding out. Of course, I keep my IFAC as simple as possible. As long as I can stop bleeding, I control my pain level in case I got hurt, I'm good. That's why I carry a tourniquet in my pockets and my IFAC directly on the top of the pack to be readily accessible. It's also really important to have a backup of my tourniquet, like the belt we are wearing or a shemagh. I also store a secondary tourniquet in my IFAC. Please carry only what you have learned to use and don't get too much extravagant. And don't forget that we can do a lot of things with our shemagh and Gorilla Tape. Here's what I will do if I wouldn't know anything about self-aid. I will buy the first piece of kit and learn how to use it. Then I will buy another one and put it in my IFAC, using the other one as a trainer. Doing so, we will be able to build up our own IFAC according to our needs and our knowledge. And you will save from 10 to 20% of the cost if you don't buy those pre-made IFACs you can find on the internet. Just my 2 cents. So let's see what I have inside. I carry trauma shears attached with a bungee cord outside of my IFAC. I carry a compression bandage that is designed to effectively stop blood flow, a spare tourniquet, a soluble hemostatic gauze that is designed to quickly absorb blood from the wounds, forming a viscous gel that effectively stops bleeding and protects the wounds. I also carry some high quality sterile compressed gauze, a pair of sterile gloves, some painkillers that I know works for me. Last but not least, a medical splint to stabilize fractured or injured limbs. I can use it as it is, or I can cut a portion with my trauma shears if the part that I have to stabilize is small, such as one of my fingers. The third priority to me will be cover. This is another important priority, and it starts with our layering system and dress properly for the season we are in. Our clothing system can be improved with some outerwear that can be possibly linked to our shelter. Doing so, we create a better level of multifunctionality between our gear. And that's why I decided to carry my poncho tarp and my poncho liner. They can be my shelter or an improvement of my clothing system. I also decided to carry my survival rain jacket as extra bonus, in case I need to move fast and don't get stuck anywhere when I'm transitioning between the urban environment and the natural environment. Again, both my clothing system and my shelter system are going to be affected by the season I'm in. So for instance, I wouldn't carry my poncho liner during the off-season in my country unless my plan will lead me up on the mountains where the weather is unpredictable. As you can see, I decided not to carry any mattress, nothing else but my poncho tarp and my poncho liner. Because during an emergency situation, I will never be able to have a full 8 hours sleep. I'd feel blessed if I'd be able to take an hour nap sitting next to a tree or lying on the ground behind a container or something I could find in a urban environment that would hide myself when my eyes are closed. I'm carrying a pair of socks, a merino wool first layer, and a beanie. About self-defense, the only 3 things I have on me are my knife, a Walter PDP pepper spray, and my Mr. I don't know. That's all. Unfortunately, I live in Europe, so I cannot carry a gun with me, and even if I would be able to carry one, I will think twice before it is. One of the main reasons is because it makes a lot of noise, and being unnoticed is a very important aspect if SHTF. For me, it should be the last resort. Anyway, having said that, the best line of defense is avoid conflicts. Being unnoticed and run faster than others, and here where the fitness also comes into play. I put into this category also some zip ties that might be helpful to close doors in case someone is running after me, or in case I had to sleep in a urban environment and I don't have time or resources to make tripwire alarms. Last priority, food. Here the food I will carry. 3 real field rations, definitely my favorite ration ever. Some snack that I can eat on the go, some electrolytes, and some fuel gel to give me energy on the go. Since my priority is to reach home or a safer place as fast as possible, I will never light an open fire. That's why I carry these 2 systems. My alcohol stove and an emergency nano stove made out of titanium with some fuel tablets. Honestly, I wouldn't carry a gas stove because they make a lot of noise and I always want to be able to listen to my surrounding when I'm resting. I think that the amount of food we decide to carry is something based on our experience. We live in a society truly addicted to food. And personally, my body works perfectly with an intake of 1,000 calories per day, no matter how much work I need to do. I give you some examples that comes from my experience. During my solo trip in Sweden, I walked 25 kilometers for every day for 15 days with a pack that weighed to around 24 kilos. And my intake was just 1100 calories, losing only 4.5 kilos of my body weight. And for me, it's pretty acceptable. In this case, we are talking about no more than 72 hours to reach our safe place or go back home to our family or with our family. Another example is when I was attending a survival class called Survival Attitude Course, where I didn't eat for 5 days straight and we had to accomplish several tasks every day, the entire day, from building different shelters, land navigate through uneven terrain and dense forests, build things with natural materials, and do some rescue procedures carrying one of the group because it was injured, building maybe an improvised stretcher, and the only thing I was honestly worried was water. Of course, I was starving and I was feeling weak, but my mind was strong enough to keep me going, and this is what is missing the most. Of course, you don't have to agree with me. This is solely based on my experience. I'm just sharing mine. From my perspective, I will suggest to try how many days you could stay without eating in a controlled environment and see how your body and your mind respond to this extreme condition. I think it will be really helpful to become stronger in terms of survival. Do you agree with me? Let's talk about the rest of the stuff that I will carry in my bug-out bag. I'm carrying 3 lighters, 1 on me and 2 inside my pack. A couple of big spool of bank line and a pre-made ridge line as a bonus. Some tent stakes in case it's needed. My Leatherman Super Tool 300, a lock picking set, a beeswax candle to keep a small light or to slightly warm me under my cover shelter, some super glue for fixing or closing wounds, an headlamp with red light, my Phoenix, some spare batteries for my headlamp, a pair of working gloves. I wouldn't carry leather gloves or some expensive tactical gloves. I just prefer a simple and cheap rubberized working gloves that will give me enough grip and protection while I'm doing things around rusty structures or to manage materials that are not clean. A reliable power bank with a solar panel. I tend to carry a 60-watt foldable solar panel from Power Solar Film or a small Goal Zero foldable panel to keep my phone and other electronics charged. This time I'm going to choose the small one to keep my backpack lighter. A map of my area. It's really important to plan an escape route and know where are the best shortcuts to reach our home or our safe place. I will also carry some printed copy of my documents and my family's documents, plus some pictures of my beloved ones. I've heard someone suggesting to carry documents and pictures of your family inside of a USB pen drive, but if there's not electricity, they will be useless. So please, I always suggest you to carry a printed copy of them. Just imagine if you lost your wallet or you got robbed and you cannot identify yourself in front of a police officer, because we all know that if something major happens, there will be police officers and soldiers all over the place, maybe during a civil unrest or a natural disasters, or you're wandering around looking for your beloved ones, but you can just ask to others if they saw them without showing you pictures. How would you feel? I would feel stupid for that. And honestly, there are almost 0 to none chances to see a kind of a Mad Max scenario. Please leave these shtf wet dreams to others. We need to be realistic. I carry also a Silco key in order to reach public water source. It always comes in handy. And a gas mask. It took me a while to find one enough compact but fully capable of protecting me from possible dangers. Whether we talk to mass rioting, where police spread rioters control agents against the masses, or a huge forest fire, or maybe a big industrial accident nearby where you live, a gas mask can be a lifesaver. Here's what I went for. This is the Myra Safety Tapper. Tapper stands for Tactical Air Purifying Respirator, and it is the first EN 140 certified respirator, specifically designed for special forces operations, security actions, and rescue teams. The Tapper is designed to provide flexible, versatile protection for even the most challenging tactical situations. In addition to it, I'm gonna carry a lightweight CBRN gas mask filter with the classic NATO 40mm thread with 10 years of shelf life. This filter provides reliable protection against solid and liquid aerosols, smoke-producing substances, radioactive particles, bacteria, viruses, vapors of organic and inorganic acids, and many more. I'm also carrying a pecan compact filter The peak and compact filter was engineered specifically for use by law enforcement against riot control agents. This filter provides respiratory protection against the effects of tear agents, especially CS and CR gases, and agents aerosol based. So my question is, would you carry a gas mask in your bug out bag? Do you think it will be necessary these days? Please let me know in a comment. Thank you guys. Just a quick side note. I think we will need a specific video about clothes and boots. Even if I love sturdy and bomb-proof boots like these two pairs, I've decided to wear lighter boots that could be more adaptable through all the different terrains and I might counter between the urban environment and the natural environment. These are very heavy, very sturdy. They work very well if we need to carry a lot of weight on our shoulders on uneven terrain such as mountains. These are Hangbug Alaska GTX. These are the Hangbug Tatra Top GTX. I think this will be too much for the mission since we're carrying a lighter pack. So I've decided to wear these boots for the mission. These are also from the company called Hangbug. I'm part of the Hangbug Soul people, so I'm one of their ambassadors. I really love their way of producing boots, their sustainable way. These are called Macra Track GTX. Despite they are lighter, these boots give me an amazing ankle protection and they are still a good barrier against sharp stuffs. There are two things are not present in this kit that I'm going to add in the near future, which are a good monocular and a ham radio. It wouldn't make any sense to me to add these without learning what's necessary about these two words. In general, I think that a good monocular will come in handy during a reconnaissance, and an M radio will be a good addition in order to listen what's happening around me and communicate with my beloved ones or in general with my team. About extra gear, there are two pieces that I didn't put in the kit, even I think that sometimes that could come in handy, which are an escape rappelling kit to escape vertically from buildings or find different shortcuts and paths, and a pry bar, something that could be helpful to open doors, and even it would be also a very good self-defensive tool. But I don't know, at the moment they will stay out of this bug out bag. What do you think? Would you carry them in your BOB? Let me know. Bugging out is an option that I will consider if I live in a big city where a major natural disaster is about to happen. If I live in a place like this, I will also consider to buy a small home or a small property in a safe place where the cost of the brick is lower than usual. I could use it during holidays with my family or alone, or if the shtf comes. In my case, I live in a less populated area now. I'm fairly protected from natural disasters, so I will consider more to bug in and reach my family, my home, my safe place where I have everything. That's why lately Erica and myself bought a property in the countryside away from Milan, which is a crazy big city and things don't work anymore. Speaking about this pack, this is what I will personally carry in my BOB, and I don't think that everyone should carry what I'm carrying. As I already said, we all live in different places, different laws, and with a different personal life. Try things out and find what works best for you. And remember that knowledge is not skill. Knowledge plus 1,000 times is skill. So practice, practice, practice. Another very important aspect is don't be a lone wolf if it's not necessary and it works only for a very short period of time, or in movies. What I will personally suggest is to involve your family, your relatives, your friends, and learn together what's important to know and do during an emergency scenario. If you have a family, think of their necessity first If you have kids, they will be your priority when you plan your strategy, because they are your future. That's it for today. I truly hope you have found this video helpful. I'm gonna leave some interesting readings in the descriptions. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Be prepared.